Why is a third hand on a watch called the second hand? All right. Mind blown. Hey, check it out. Welcome to my home studio. Come with me. I'm going to show you around. Okay, so here we go. Studio Tour 2021. This was my main recording desk. Now I have two main recording desks, which you'll see here shortly. This is, not a whole lot has changed out here. Pretty much, still the same recording setup. Focusrite 18i20, pair of Cali Audio LP6s, best bang for your buck studio monitors out there on the planet. Two Notes Torpedo Live I use that for virtual cabs and load box for when I'm actually recording actual amplifiers out here, such as when I did the demo for this little guy. That's the Wong's Mini 5 demo that I did a couple weeks ago as of this recording. Killer little amp. You want a good bang for your buck, man, go buy one of those. I still can't believe how good that thing sounded. Awesome amplifier. When I am recording out here, that's usually the bass that I use. That's a old mid 80s Charvel 3B. Love that bass. And then of course, one of my heroes, particularly from my childhood. That's an actual copy of Michael Jackson's Thriller on vinyl that's framed up there. One of the greatest records, best-selling record of all time. Let's see. Just a stash for cables. I hate cables. There's no good way to store them anywhere. More cables. Those are my Biodynamic DT990 headphones. I use those quite a bit. Love those headphones. One new addition from last year is this pair of headphones, which are a pair of blue headphones. What are they? I've already forgotten what they call those things. I'll caption that on the screen. Way different than those things. These are closed back, and those things kind of they isolate, man. They're they isolate. And they're big and heavy, and so I unfortunately am not able to wear those for too long of a stretch. Whereas those I can wear quite a bit. Let's see, over here in the rack, that's my Laney IRT Studio. Usually when I'm doing pedal demos, 99.999% of the time these days, that's what I'm doing them through, is that amp right there. I love that amplifier. So really in the rack, there's not much in there except that, the power conditioner, a couple of drawers, and that bottom drawer just stores extra cables and adapters and stuff, and then the top drawer is that's where I keep my personal accounting information, stuff like that. And then of course my trusty Coca-Cola cooler that is handy to store bottles of water and beverages of various different types. For anybody wanting to start up a gear channel on YouTube, this rack, or stand rather, right here is one of the best things I have ever bought. It's a module stand from Ultimate Support, and I actually bought two of them, and then there's a kind of an adapter stand thingamabobber that you got to buy a set of those to connect the two together. But it's designed for module synthesizers and stuff like that, but it's been exceptionally handy for me for pedals, because I can line up 8 or 10 pedals on there, hook them all together, and it's like I said, it's been great, especially for Boss Overdrive shootouts and stuff like that. Well, worth the investment. The IRT Studio has an effects loop in it, and I usually keep that talent booster plugged into that when I am not demoing any other pedals like delays or something, you know, something like that. If I'm just doing an overdrive or something, I usually just leave the talent booster plugged in to keep the signal path going in and out of the effects loop connected, because it is a huge pain in the ass to get back behind there and start, you know, unplug and plug the effects loop back in, all that stuff. So yeah. Let's see, got a couple of pedal shelves up here. There is my Boss pedals. Basically, most everything I keep out here is the big name, the bigger pedal company stuff. So yeah, there's most of my Boss pedal collection, Digitech, DoD, etc., and Electro Harmonics there on the end, and of course I got a few Rat pedals, and those are kind of right there in the middle. And you can also see that I've got a few other pedals that I have not found homes for on the shelf, and that's just right here. These are not the only ones I have not found homes for yet. I've demoed all of these on my channel, but I'm about to the point that I'm gonna have to add some more, either add some more shelves or sell some stuff just to make more room for it. Oh, and that, of course, is my Panasonic FZ300 camera that I use to shoot most of my videos out here. This was also the camera that I used to use when I was doing my live streams out here. I would use that. Guitar rack holds 5 guitars. That's the Schroeder guitars there on the left. Awesome guitar. Really glad to be working with those folks right there. Excellent company, great guy, great guitars. And then, of course, the Dean Cadillac that a viewer sent me last year. That thing actually plays phenomenal. Took me a while to get it set up because the intonation was so out of whack when I got it. Not the fault of the viewer that sent it to me. It was the fault of, you know, whoever it was that set it up prior to him doing so. But regardless, I got it straightened out now. Like I said, great playing guitar. And there's a couple other guitars here on the left that I'm actually, there's a really messy shelf right behind it that I'm trying to keep out of view on camera here. But here, that's my Ibanez Xiphos and the 10S Blaze EXP Explorer style guitar that I demoed several months back, or I guess about a year or so ago now. So let's go back to the actual guitar room and see what all's back there. Alrighty, and on to part 2. There is I've had that Megadeth poster since I was a kid. As you can see, it's rather shittily framed. That's okay. I love that poster, and I actually bought that poster at the I actually got to see Rush on that tour, and bought that poster on that tour. That frame looks a little better. Anyway, you guys have seen this shelf before. This is a little TC Electronic smorgasbord stuff, and the Joyo stuff that I've demoed on my channel over the last couple of years. That's a Casio digital piano that belongs to Mrs. Jackson. She's got a nicer rolling downstairs, so this one honestly doesn't get used very much, but it's up here should she want to do something with it. This guitar is also Mrs. Jackson's. This was a gift from her father once upon a time, and she doesn't really play guitar, but that's because of where it came from. That guitar's special to both of us. And then, of course, behind it, my trusty old Roland Cube amp, great little practice amp. Sounds horrible when you try to record with it. And then, of course, the now famous Feet of Doom, we'll call them. And then the rest of this stuff is honestly just kind of, this is still kind of the messy area of the room. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do with yet. I just overhauled this entire room just in the last couple of months, actually. So, acoustic AG60 guitar combo, great little amp, great sounding little amp. Guitar Center proprietary brand. You guys may have remembered from my last studio tour, I used to have a couple of bookshelves in this room that were just jam-packed with all kinds of junk, and I hated the way it looked. I was never able to shoot anything on this side of the room because I couldn't not get one of them in the shot, and they looked like shit. So I got rid of those, And these guys here, this is a big IKEA shelf that I got to replace it with these little, cube thingies that I'm able to accomplish pretty much the exact same thing with that I was before. That's all my guitar maintenance stuff. That there's just some various odds and ends and parts and all kinds of stuff. That's some spare camera supplies in there. This one holds all of my microphones, not all of them, but a lot of them. See my MXL 990 XL back there in the back. Some EV mics, Sennheiser, Sterling Audio, etc., etc. Some people give me a hard time about that MXL microphone, but I like it. See, and those three right there all have guitar books in them, and then I had this drawer left that I decided to designate for watch boxes. Zome camera tripod, best tripod I've owned. Great tripod. In fact, that was the first one first good one that was a birthday gift a couple years ago, and that was the first one that I had that didn't break. The amp rack, of course, I've got my blue Encore 100i on the floor right in front of it, not doing anything, and a couple of random. I hate cables. Cables are such a pain in the ass. So ignoring all that, here is the amp rack. This rack, by the way, was another IKEA purchase. I think I bought this entire rack for $50. Is what it cost. $50, and it holds all this. I still got room for one or two more if I need it. PV1s are on the bottom. Crate Blue Voodoo 120 on the second shelf. Marshall Mode 4 in the middle. That's the one that's plugged in right now. Couple of Panama amps. That is the Shaman 20 on the left and the 5 watt on the right. Those of all the Panama amps I own, those two are my favorite. The now infamous Crate GFX 1200H. That one may stay. I may sell it. I don't know. It's I proved my point with it, but I don't know that I'm going to be that I'm ever really going to use it that much. And then a couple of Ibanez Weeping Demons up there at the top. And then that box there is my watch case. Okay, moving on to the desk. This is not a designated studio desk. This was, I had, as you can see, I had a, because the amp rack was already here. That bookshelf was right there. Obviously, there's a closet right next to it. That was all my CD collection back there, by the way, and the rest of that closet's a giant mess. But I had that bookshelf, the amp rack, and then all of my other amps, as you can see, were kind of lining the rest of the room. So I had literally this much space to work with. So I found, after taking measurements and everything, I found this desk on Amazon, and I kind of wanted to go with a somewhat of a white colored theme. I don't know why. I generally hate white, but for some reason it just kind of made sense. So it's a white glass top desk that I found was going to fit my space exactly, and hence the also the KRK. Rocket white rocket speakers in white, as well as my that's a Canon M200 that I actually did a video on. That's my primary streaming camera, and also a great travel camera. I really like that thing. But I kind of went with white stuff here as much as I could. The monitor obviously was black. That's a brand new studio rack that obviously was black. And the computer that Tony Ramsey built for me specifically for recording and video production purposes also had a white case. So never ever thought I would spend that much money on a computer, but this time I did. Honestly, I'm glad that I did, because it's just going to make my life easier next time I need to upgrade something. So that's the desk itself. I wanted to go with another pair of of Cali Audio monitors back here, just because I love the ones out of my other desk so much. But number one, they wouldn't. Those cabinets are huge. Even for 6.5-inch speakers, and I just they just wouldn't fit, and it just didn't make sense. So Cali Audio does have a slimmer profile monitor that they sell, but I asked if they'd be willing to work together. Right now, they're not really looking for any influencers, or at least that's what they told me. I could have just been a line telling me they don't want to give me anything. So I decided that I would go with something a little bit different this time, and the KRKs are where I landed, because I went with these because, one, they were white, two, they would fit, and three, they had some speakers. They had some features on the back of them similar to the what the Calis have, as far as like proximity features, different settings that you can put them in depending on where you have them set up. So these have that as well, and I used to hate the Rockets, the KRK Rockets. Absolutely couldn't stand them. The G3s actually changed my mind. The first time I heard the G3s, I thought, what, these actually sound pretty good. And these are actually the G4s, fourth generation, that sound even better. So, and I've mixed with them several times now, and I'm actually pretty happy. Again, brand new studio rack, just getting all the stuff loaded. I'll be honest with you guys, most of the stuff isn't hooked up yet. And the reason why is because that the interface that you see there, let me get closer here, LiveWire, that's just a LiveWire power conditioner there on top. And below that is the Persona Studio 192 interface. That is actually a USB 3 interface. My computer has USB 3 as well, but I currently only have a USB 2 cable. Hence that USB cable that's hanging out of it right now. That's just a USB 2, so I'm going to wait a day or so until Amazon get me the right one. I could probably run it on USB 2.0 and get away with it, but I'd rather not. I'd rather keep everything 3.0 if I can. So we had Persona Studio 192. Below that, the Arc Technologies TPS2, 2 preamp system, mic preamp, and then the Persona's HP60 headphone amp right below that. Speaking of headphone amps, by the way, I keep forgetting to do this, but you see that funky little hook that those headphones are hanging on? That is a hook. It's a brand called Pull Hanger that my buddy Justin just recently started up, and they're actually pretty neat little devices. That particular one's meant to clip onto the pole of a mic stand, but for my it works just fine clipping onto a Metro rack too. I found. I don't know how many times that I have not had what I need to be able to hang a set of headphones on, and just kind of had to improvise. So that's what that is. They make that variety, and they also make, they sent me, here's the other one they sent me. They make this variety as well, pullhuggermusic.com, if you guys want to go and check them out. This is the other variety that they make. And this one here, there's a picture on the back. See right there, you can see where you can actually hang it. You can attach it to the mic stand, to the boom right below the microphone. So there, if you're in the studio singing, or even if you're using a pair of isolation headphones on stage or something, you can have that there, and you got a real convenient place to hang it right below your microphone. Also, coldest water bottle. You guys have, I'm sure, seen me promoting this company on my channel lately, because obviously we've been working together, and I've been promoting them a lot, but I've also been using their product a lot. That is a fantastic water bottle. Seriously, keep stuff cold for day and a half, 2 days, easy. Very, very good quality. But like I said, I've been using that a lot, so very, very grateful to be working with those folks as well. Let's see, back to more gear. PV 6505 112 combo. Another good thing about this desk was that amp fit in there underneath it, right next to me, just perfectly. And I've always wanted to have that amp a little bit more accessible to me. I've had it forever, but I've never really gotten to use it much just because it's always been, yeah, I don't know, either too loud or, it's been too much of a pain to, run the DI box or something. I don't know, but I mean, that is an awesome sounding amplifier. Now I've finally got a good spot to be able to use it, which I have been. Acoustic B450 bass combo. I got a lot of acoustic brand gear, from my Guitar Center store days, because that's one of their proprietary brands. Solomon mics, Low Freak. Great mic to have for bass guitar. Awesome mic for bass drums, kick drum. Panama Prometheus 412. Panama unfortunately no longer in business. And Marshall JCM 900 half stack. Okay, most of this stuff over here is all stuff that you guys have seen before. Those are my two Randall lunchbox heads. That's an RM22 module head on top and my trusty old RD20 on the bottom. Seismic audio, oversized deep body 212 cabinet loaded with a pair of warehouse guitar speakers, veteran 30s. Awesome 212 cabinet, even though it's a freaking tank to lug around. Two more Panama guitar heads. I'm sorry, that's the Fuego X that's the Fuego X on the bottom, the Fuego Hot Rod on top. They did 3 versions of the Fuego, and those are the second and third ones. And then, of course, the Tonewood 212 underneath it. I'm actually thinking about selling that cabinet and possibly those 2 heads as well. I haven't decided yet. Leather jacket hanging on the doorknob by now. As of this recording, you guys probably know what I did with that. what I did with that jacket in late summer. But pile of cables that I don't know what to do with. I hate cables. If I mention that, cables are a pain in the ass. That's just a stack of old guitar magazines. I'll tell you what, if anybody wants those, the first one to contact me and send me a shipping label is who gets them. So I will be happy to box them up and send them to you, because I'm tired of looking at them, but I don't want to throw them out. I'd rather somebody get some use out of them. More pedals. More pedals. More pedals. Robert Plant's Now and Zen. And vinyl on the wall. Yeah. More pedals, and some guitars. That there's my Washburn Paul Stanley signature, the USA. That one was in a Whose Gear Sounds Better video recently with my buddy Alan Barnes from Geargasms. A couple of dime bag guitars. That empty hook is where the Ibanez Zyphos goes. It was sitting in a stand out at the other desk. USA Hammer Scarab. The unknown white, that white unknown guitar thing next to it that has been affectionately named Frank. Very, not really sure what the origin is. I know where I bought it, and I know where he's told me he got it, and that's about the extent of my knowledge on it. A couple of Schecters, Charvel. Actually, should be a couple Charvels there. I just realized all my guitars are out of order. Like way out of order. The Music Man's supposed to go on the end. My trusty Music Man, that's my Music Man Majesty, the gold one. You guys know I love that guitar. That's my favorite guitar. An old Washburn KV40, I think is what that one's called next to it. Yamaha A1R acoustic guitar. That red Strat copy right next to it is a brand called TSX 2000. I don't know if you can see it from here, but that was my very first guitar. Still have it. Haven't played it in forever. Last time I plugged it in, didn't get any output out of it, which means there's a short in the wiring in there somewhere, but that was my very first guitar. Squier Vintage Modified Strat right next to it. Squier Standard Telly. That's probably the only Telly that I'm ever going to own. I'm just not a Telly guy. My Chapman guitars. There's the ML1 Modern Baritone V2, along with the ML1 Traditional V2 right next to it. SG Special. Of course, my Gibson Zach Wild Vertigo Les Paul. Those next two Les Pauls right next to it, are Chipsons. So those are fake. The Black Beauty, the black one there on the left. I don't really play that much. The faded white custom looking one though, the one next to the Vertigo, That one actually I played quite a bit, and you know, for a fake Gibson, that's actually a pretty good playing, good sounding guitar. And then that last one, all three of those, that's a legit Epiphone Les Paul Black Beauty. Two Gibson, authentic Gibson Explorers right next to it. A 92 Epiphone Korean-made Flying V right next to those. And then we get into all my BC Rich stuff. Of course, you got that's my 78 Eagle bass. Love that bass. The acrylic Warlock right next to it. The Joey Jordison, may he rest in peace, Warlock right next to that. I still can't believe he passed away. Wow. That's the Dagger, BC Rich Dagger semi-hollow body all the way in the back. That one doesn't get played much either, which is why it's hanging up back there where it is. It's kind of a pain to get guitars, to get a guitar back in there, so I figured I better stick something I don't play very often. Draco V right next to it. Mockingbird Special. I'm sorry, Mockingbird SE. Evil Edge Mockingbird. That's the one with that metal pickguard thing on it. I've had that guitar forever. The Mockingbird Special is the one right next to it. That's one of my favorite BC Rich guitars. I love that thing. And then, of course, the ASM Pro right there in front. That's probably the one that gets played the most right now anyway. And that's pretty much everything there is to talk about in here. So that is what I am currently working with. As usual, I have way too much gear. And, honestly, for the first time in my life, I'm really thinking about thinning the herd just to make things a little bit simpler for myself. But regardless, this is what I do. This is what I love. And I'm very fortunate, and I wanted to show you guys exactly how, or at least, not exactly, but, a little bit of how I produce all of the content on this channel. So links down below if you need them. Comment down below if you want to. Subscribe down below if you haven't. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.